My name is Akureyri, and I'm director for Visit Akureyri, or Akureyri as we call it in Icelandic. We do culture and marketing and tourism mainly for the town of Akureyri.
And yes, we're here today to learn more about the heart and smile your heart. And I wanted to ask, could you tell us the story of how the campaign or the movement evolved and how it went?
Yeah, I can try. It's a pretty long history, but it started in 2008, and as a way to spice up, it's an idea that came from Brussels, I think. We had this director for a local festival we have in the beginning of August. And she came up with this idea from her sister or aunt from Brussels to put those stickers in the traffic lights, the red hearts. And we jumped on it, and she more or less did it. She's a pretty famous media person in Iceland, Margaret Blöndal. She's mostly working in radio, but she was doing this project then as a project leader for the festival. And the idea was just to go during the night, put the hearts in all of the traffic lights in the town. And so we did. A group of people just went between the traffic lights in the town and put them in. And when people woke up the morning after, the first day of the festival, all the traffic lights in town had the red hearts. And of course people were amazed because no one was told beforehand. So it was a complete surprise for everyone. So many people think that it started after the crisis in Iceland, but this is the beginning. The traffic lights are the beginning. But then of course several months later we had the famous speech in Iceland where the Prime Minister asked God to bless the Icelanders. The beginning of the formal beginning of the crisis. And several months after that, if I remember right, in January the year after, probably in 2009, we came up with this idea to have meetings, people meet together and just to encourage each other and well, try to find the positive things in the community and things like that because of the crisis. And of course for some time everyone was feeling rather bad. And I think I remember the history right. It was sometime after that this designing and printing company in town, they got the idea to print stickers, different sizes of stickers and specially designed hearts just to people to get and put up wherever they wanted. And connected with that, they printed out proverbs and sayings of famous poems of Iceland with some encouraging words and phrases. And you can still see them around town. And it has had a huge positive effect and also spread around Iceland. I think it was the same week as we started with the stickers, we saw it was this broadcasting from Parliament in Reykjavik, and then we saw the stickers on the windows behind the scene they were taking there. So it went around very fast and influenced more people, obviously, in Iceland. So that's more or less the story. I'm still talking just out of memory, but I think I remember right, it was the summer after, probably in 2009 as well, but this electricity contractor came up with the idea to put this huge heart in the mountain opposite Akureyri. They had done several projects before. We had an environmental artist, he worked in Akureyri, and he had put up probably 3 or 4 huge works made of stones in the mountain opposite Akureyri, above Akureyri, and in different places, made of huge rocks, and they formed old letters, most of them, or signs. There's a sign above Akureyri. I think it's the Rhythm of Life, called something like that, and it's a special form that he has done in several places in the world. Andrew Rogers is his name, and the first project that the contractors, the electricity contractors, did was to put lights on this work during probably during our cultural night in the end of August. That was the first thing they did, and after that they did the huge heart. And it's so big, it was so big, it's similar to the size of a football field. But it didn't work very well in the snow. They tried to put it on, you know, long sticks and have the bulbs high in the air, but if we had a lot of snow, it went over it and things like that, and bit by bit it was ruined. It was too costly to repair. So the final phase, or the next steps in the story, because we have always kept the heart in the traffic lights, and probably among the most photographed things in town now, maybe the church and the traffic lights. But we really want to get the big heart in the mountain up again, and it will be, and we have already started it, it will be a joint venture between several big companies, and we also want to involve just ordinary people in town. So the idea is that you can owe one bulb or several bulbs up in the mountain, and it will be LED, and it will be controlled by computers, so you can have different colors and different patterns and rhythms of the heartbeat. So yeah, I didn't mention that the big heart, it did beat like a heart, so you could see it beat up in the mountain, and we hope that this will be up and running, if I remember right, 2018, and that will be the next chapter in this story. We don't know where it will end, but this is the idea, the next idea. And also we are starting our work on branding the town, and my guess is that the core of the brand, the new brand for the town, for the tourist industry, will be the heart of North Iceland or something like that, and everything connected with the heart.
So I wanted to ask, the time of crisis, you looked for a way to positively influence the way people saw the situation and just thinking of it. But heart isn't the only positive symbol. Why heart? Probably just because the traffic lights were there. That's my guess. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure where the director of the designing company came up with the idea to make those stickers of hearts. You see how the design was hers, and yeah, I would guess that it's just directly connected with the hearts in the traffic lights. Yeah, of course there are a lot of other positive signs, but yeah, the idea was to look inside, understand that there's value in many other things than stocks and money. Look at things that we can create on our own, with our own hands and things like that. The mindset of Icelanders, it changed a lot during those years. Some say it's changing back now, but we'll see. So I guess that is the answer. That the traffic lights were there, the heart was already there. So yeah. So you'd say that with success, you like with the help of art, you had success with changing the way people.
Yeah, at least it helped. We can say maybe it was a support to something that was already growing, and we were already doing. Yeah, I think so. People especially love the heart in the mountain opposite Akureyri, and many people miss it. And we did launch a little news story about the rebuild of the heart in the mountain, and we haven't had as many likes to any story in a long time, because and many people just spoke out. Oh, that's great news! I've missed it so much, and so yeah, the heart has a special place in everyone's heart in Akureyri. It seems to be.
So it's not, it hasn't become just like this touristic marketing thing. It's like for the people in the town, it's like deeper.
Yeah, that's the important thing, and that is what we are looking at when we are thinking about the branding of the town. Because of course we want it to be original. We want it to be true, authentic sign of something that we already have, not just something that we build and say is here, but it's just in our mouth. So there's a lot of potential, and yeah, no, it's not just a sign that we put up like any other traveling company. It's something deeper, I think.
And you mentioned about reactions from people that they were glad, but how can you remember how they were expressed? Like, did you see more smiling people? Like, how, or did they?
Yeah. People just talked about it, and they were choosing proverbs and sayings and things like that. They were talking about that, and have you seen the sticker in there, and things like that. So yeah, I think you could probably see it or feel it more feel it, because of course we didn't want anyone to think that the crisis weren't serious and we shouldn't find out how and why it happened. Just to remember that it didn't change everything, even though it was serious. Yeah.
The first impressions which come from Red Heart could be romantic love, but the idea behind this, is it like, what kind of, like, what do you think it symbolizes to the town Akureyri and you and just
I guess it has a lot of just different meanings for different people, but of course you're right. A red heart is a sign of love and romantic thoughts. For some people it might stand for something like that, but I think for others, for the whole of Akureyri, probably more about just solidarity. Yeah, just what we have in common in the middle, and more like that. The heart that came from the designing company, that was not. There was no big meeting that took a decision. It should look like this. It should have this color or anything like that. They just did it, and they just printed it and said this is available for everyone. So it wasn't a design campaign in that sense. It was more just people wanting to do something positive for others. And there was a lot of things going on like that. The music school, they formed a band that played from, I think it was for 3 or 4 months, from October until the new year, October 2008. And they just visited companies and played during the lunch hour. They just came with their instrument and said, "Can we play here? We just want to cheer you up." And of course, more or less everyone said yes, in the hospital and the fishing companies and wherever. And they did it for nothing. They just wanted to cheer people up. And there were a lot of things like this going on. So it somehow all just came together in the heart. I think we can say, yeah.
Yes, about this whole, it seems like a really beautiful success story of how you said that you don't have to like think out everything, and just art somehow means different things to everyone, so everyone could kind of relate, and if it's true, it's gonna read as true. And yeah, so the final question for me was, so again, would you say that, do you think that it's possible to shape society with the help of art, or in this case, love?
Probably yes. It's a big question. because somehow you tend to believe, well, if you're interested in arts in the beginning, you tend to believe that art is always kind of changing something. But it's probably seldom that you get a sign, ordinary sign like a heart, made out in a special way, and you get all these people to feel like they own it. That doesn't happen very often when you're thinking about art, I think. So this is probably a very special case. I'm trying to think if I can remember a piece of art in public space that has had an influence like this. Probably, you know, signs just from all the campaigns. Maybe the beautiful thing about this story is that we cannot really use the word campaign, because it wasn't designed or thought of as a campaign. But it's a huge question about the art. But the short answer would be, yeah, I believe that art can change. And well, there are different meanings about what is true art and when is art telling the truth. But when that happens, I really think it can change the shape of a community and how we think. But probably it happens. Usually, it happens without us noticing it. In this case, it happened. We all saw it, and we all saw it happen. We all took part somehow, but usually it happens without us noticing.
Okay. Thank you.